Hey guys, I am so sorry for the delay. Um, we've been going through some transitions in the house, and I'm here now. And as you can probably tell, new microphone, better quality. So I'm really excited. But without further ado, let's get into it. So this is our part two to God's responses to our prayer requests, right? Last week was the yes, and that's the one we all love. This week is one we don't particularly like, but it happens sometimes, and that's the no. We tend not to like this one because we've prayed our hearts out, or we prayed until we turn blue in the face, and sometimes he just has to say no, and it does hurt, and it sucks, but he has a good reason for it in the long run. We have to look at it like this: the no is given sometimes because God knows it's not in your best interest, violates his will, or is not a part of his ultimate plan. And sometimes it can be used as protection. So, as we take a deeper look at the no, sometimes his no can benefit you by keeping you lowly and keeping you humble. And he does this so that self reliance isn't produced in you and a deeper dependency in him becomes evident. And we see this in Second Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 through 9. Paul is being very vulnerable here. And basically, he's writing to the church in Corinth. These false teachers and apostles have came in, and he's telling the church about a very real encounter that he had with the Lord 14 years prior to this. The Bible even says that he was called into the third heaven with the Lord, and he heard words from God that couldn't be repeated. And this could have been a way for Paul to validate his apostleship. So, starting in verse 7, he says, "Because of the surpassing greatness of the revelations, for this reason, to keep me from, hear me, exalting myself, there was given me a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me, to keep me from exalting myself. Concerning this, I implored," he prayed to the Lord, "to remove this from me. And he says to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, I will rather boast about my weakness, so that the power of Christ may dwell in me." Paul prayed for the thorn in his flesh to be removed. And instead of removing it, God said that my grace is sufficient for you. And I mean, we just read it. It says that to keep him from exalting himself. So that was a prayer unanswered. And I almost forgot to mention this. It says that he prayed three times. He implored of the Lord three times for this thing to be removed, and it didn't happen. So the second reason God may say no to your prayer request is basically for refinement and testing. Sometimes God will say no to build up in you consistency, patience, and the endurance of your faith. And an example of this is found in the parable of the prayer. And we see it in Luke 18, 1 through 8. And I know you guys know it. It's the woman that just kept coming and kept coming. So we'll take a look at that. In Luke 18, starting at verse 1, this is Jesus talking to his boys. He says, "Now he was telling them a parable to show that at all times they ought to pray and not to lose heart, saying, in a certain city there was a judge who did not fear God and did not respect man. There was a widow in that city, and she kept coming to him, saying, 'Give me legal protection from my opponent.' For a while he was unwilling, but afterward he said to himself, 'Even though I do not fear God nor respect man, yet because this widow bothers me, I will give her legal protection. Otherwise, by continually coming, she will wear me out.' And the Lord said, 'Hear what the unrighteous judge said. Now will not God bring about justice for his elect, who cry out to him day and night, and he will delay long over them? I tell you that he will bring about justice for them quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth?'" And I know that we like to think that, well, we're close to him, we have a relationship with him, we commune with him, and while that's all good, that is all great. That's actually, what we long for. We're not meant to be separated from him. We like to think that, well, I'm his child and he doesn't hear me the first time, then something must be wrong. And that is absolutely not the case. Your continual coming to him doesn't mean you're disqualified. If he hasn't said yes the first few times you've come to him with whatever it is, that is completely okay. Because just know that we serve a God that always shows up and shows out. And sometimes he shows up later than we want him to, but he always shows up and never without purpose. The third reason that God may say no to your prayer requests is something that we don't always believe, but it is very true. And that's simply put that his plan is better than your plan and way better beyond your requests. Isaiah 55, verses 8 through 9, this emphasizes here that we as humans tend to operate based on limited perspective. We like to use self-preservation, or we want immediate result, while we serve a God whose ways are rooted in a much longer sovereign plan. I also know that we all know this scripture, but it, much like the rest of scripture, is also true. Isaiah 55, 8 and 9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts." That goes to show that even in the midst of going through the no or going through the wait, that he holds the outcome in his hands, and that whatever it is, it's better than I can imagine. We see this very thing in Ephesians 3:20, and I know that we all know this one too, but it's so good. And it says, "Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond all that we ask or think, according to the power that works within us." He knows what's best for us, way better than we do. And we can rest and have faith in the fact that he gives immeasurably more. So, the fourth and final reason God may say no to your prayer request is because your prayer is rooted in pride or hypocrisy. And that hurts. We find this in Matthew 6, where Jesus is talking to his boys and he's telling them that when you pray, don't pray like the hypocrites that are in the synagogues or on the street corners who pray publicly, and they do it out of basically a performative ritual, because their reward is a that boy. It's human recognition. And he tells them that when you pray in your secret place, in your inner room, doors closed, humbled, and in humility, he says that your father who sees you in secret will openly reward you. When you pray, you are not to be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners, so that they may be seen by men. Truly, I say to you, they have their reward in full. But you, when you pray, go into your inner room, close your door, and pray to your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Red letter. So, just quick review: a no from God can benefit you by keeping you humble, refining or testing, or an endurance of your faith. His plan is way better than yours, and the request made, he can not only meet that, but he wants to outdo that. And finally, if your prayer is rooted in pride or hypocrisy, it's going to be met with a no from the Lord. So I know this one this week was kind of tough because, as a people, we don't like to hear the word no, but his ways are always better in the long run, and he knows what's best for us better than we do. So I pray that this touches you guys and this blesses you guys. The next video will be on the wait or the not yet, and it's going to be so good. So God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.